Okay, greetings everyone. This is the June 2017 members monthly meeting. So thank you very much. We're very well attended. I don't have an exact count here, but when I scroll down the participants, it's a long list. So that's great. I'm just delighted that you could all join us today because we have a really exciting program. As you know, I will be your host for today. I'm the events manager in the absence of having a full membership committee. However, we have CMC-GI has recently appointed a chair of membership committee, so we will be in the process of handing this over to a membership committee in due course. And Harold Schroeder, I think, is actually on the line, so so welcome, Harold. I'm delighted that you can join us today. In terms of our agenda, we have a standing agenda. The general approach that we take every session is that we'll have an update from our chair. I see Tamara is on, so we will call on her shortly. We have a special presentation on a topic of special interest, and today Otto is joining us, and he's going to be giving us an overview for an idea we have for a best practices approach of sharing good information amongst all of us. So anyway, he will explain that to us. And then we have an opportunity to meet other members. So we will be meeting a member and a board member today. So I'll do that when we get to that. And then at the end, if we have time, we'll have a general discussion, but it looks like a very full agenda today. So what I would like to do now is introduce our chair, Tamara. Have you some words of wisdom for us today, please?
I'm fasting, so no words of wisdom. Welcome. I'm happy to see such a big audience for our event today. You'll be meeting our new chair of membership, Harold Schroeder, who's bringing excellent experience and support to all of you, our members. And like we mentioned in our previous event, we're working on our new strategy for CMC-GI. So hopefully you'd be receiving new updates about this starting July. The last point I wanted to mention, and I believe Harold might mention that as well, is that we're organizing a focus group where we'll be talking about the CMC-GI value proposition and your ideas around that. So you will be receiving an invitation to that quite shortly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a very sensitive mute button. I had to go back and do it twice. So thank you, Tamara, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. So because we have such a full agenda, without further ado, we'll just move on to the next session. And I would like to introduce Otto. He's a member of CMC-GI. He's been involved in our certification committee, and he's come forward. He's been very helpful and very participative in many ways with CMC-Global Institute. And today he's going to talk about an idea that he's come to us with called Best Practices and Projects Peer Group, lots of P's, which we thought was very exciting. So we're using this main agenda item today for Otto to outline that to you, and then for you to give us feedback. So let's treat this as an interactive session. I'll advance the slides, Otto. So whenever you want the next slide, say just say advance the slide. And if anyone has any questions, please just jump in and we'll take it from there. So I'll hand it over to you, Otto.
Okay. Thanks, Dwight, and everyone. Okay. Without much further introduction, the BPP peer group, the Best Practices and Projects peer group, is basically an idea where there's a space for CMC consultants and for aspiring CMCs, meaning members of CMC-GI that are not yet certified and that could find this tool or this group useful in the development of their own skills. So basically, this is a space where everyone participating could share information about type of projects, methodologies, and tools and case examples of the different areas of activity where a CMC or where a management consultant can interact. Members of the group could learn from each other across the globe and across cultures, because the same type of project could be done differently depending on the location. And that's also part of the learning. and through that, take insights on how to improve their own skills. Next, please. So the BPP is a closed group. That means that you need to ask for entrance in the group, and you need to be admitted depending on whether or not you comply with some prerequisites, which we will be looking at very shortly. So the access is requested to an administrator who collects and evaluates their prerequisites. Among other things, we will get into the detail a couple of slides down the road, but among other things, you need to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to ensure the confidentiality within the group of everything that will be shared in the sessions. And of course, we are bound by our ethical behavior as part of the CMC Code of Ethics. Next, please. So what kind of things could be shared in such a group? For example, analytics is a topic that is very up to date right now, and there might be some people who want to get into that field and don't know where to start. So that could be one of the topics that could be showcased. Could be analytics or RPA, which for those non-familiar with the acronym is a robotics process automation, or more traditional type of engagement, such as organizational design, process improvement, Six Sigma, ISO, shared services implementation, things like that. I'm of course a bit inclined toward process-oriented kind of things because of my own specialties, but it could be anything that could be within the space of management consulting. And also, many of us are building a practice, and some of the topics could be also about matters that are important to the development of a practice, such as what PSAs, what professional services automation tools are out there, and what are the experiences of some of the members, or some type of software that people want to use. Now Tableau is very popular among people for analytics. So we could, basically the idea is to be able to share what everyone else is doing, so that as a group, we all grow. That's basically it. Next, please. What are the prerequisites as we see them right now? Well, first, of course, you need to be a CMC-GI member with at least 6 months of membership and being fully in order with CMC-GI from an administrative standpoint. That means you need to be up to date with your fees and be in order with everything else that needs to be, because this is a very, we envision this as a very valuable type of benefit, and we want this to be an incentive to be in order with everything else in CMC-GI. If the member is a CMC, I'm proposing that the recertification must be up to date, meaning that CMCs who for some reason do not renew their CMC certification could lose the chance to belong to the group. So you need, again, to be in order and standing with everything that is from an administrative and professional standpoint with CMC. If over the period of a 3-year period in the the recertification cycle is a 3-year period. So we are also proposing that you need that you earn that you need over a 3-year period to contribute to the group with a case of your own or a topic of your own. This is meant to avoid the case where someone participates and is only receiving content and is not providing content to the group. The success of such a group depends on the contributions of everyone. So basically what we want is, okay, over a 3-year period, you need to contribute with at least one case in order to keep in the group. Of course, the NDA, which is basically, tidying up the confidentiality issues, and a declaration of compliance with the group's engagement rules. For example, agree not to copy or record what is being shown in the. So this is a tool for you. What that means is it is for you and not for everyone else outside the group, and you agree, bind by your ethics belonging to the CMC-GI that you are not going to reproduce this material, and these sessions will not be recorded.
Otto, we have a question coming in. Someone like that. What was the question, please? I don't, if someone maybe is not unmuted, somebody raised their hand, or perhaps it was an accidental hand raise. Let's just move on, Otto.
All right. And there will be some, afterwards we will see, there will be some space where people can also, through email, if they find it more easy, just inquire and show express their interest in belonging to this. The peer group will meet at least one every month by either Zoom, as we are meeting right now, or comparable means. And there will be basically a simple agenda and a pipeline of future topics. So everyone sees, hopefully, 3 or 4 months ahead and can prepare or can block their agendas if they want to participate specifically in one. Again, as this will not be recorded because of confidentiality issues, you need to plan to be there if you want to be able to see the content. Each contributor will sanitize the content. Sanitize means that you eliminate everything that has a reference to your client or anything that could be sensitive from a legal standpoint. So you basically take, for example, when you are showcasing a project, you take out all the logos and everything, so that what you show is as vanilla flavor as possible. And you could earn certification points for volunteer. So within the certification cycle, not only you need to contribute at least one time, but also it is being put forward the possibility of earning recertification points through the participation in this group, because you are contributing to the profession. The agenda for this type of meeting could be, of course, the introduction of the topic and the presenter, and then the context where this type of project or engagement add value. What this means is this is meant to develop each other. So one question that needs to be answered is, where do I use this? When is this being used, or for what? Then, of course, the showcase, one or more engagement. It depends. This will be depending on how the group evolves. explaining how it was done, what went wrong, what went well, and if you want to know more, where can you find more information about this, so that you keep on with your self-learning. And a Q&A session. Next, please. So basically, that's the idea. What would be the roadmap ahead for this initiative? One, show that you are interested. Send me an email or through Dwight, but we will be sending a detailed description of what you need to do, to basically say, I'm interested, please include me in whatever is going forward with this. Do the paperwork. That would mean that we will send you some declaration of or the NDA, and you will send it back signed and with 3, get involved in the launch. You will be receiving a questionnaire, so that we understand what are the topics that are of most interest to you, and what topics can you contribute on, and your time zone and availability preferences, so that we try to schedule the sessions in the time zone where most of the people can attend. Of course, this will, how the group evolves and the pipeline of topics would depend on what everyone can contribute and what everyone is, and that matched with what everyone wants to learn about. So that will be an ongoing list of topics. And the kickoff date and the following dates will be shared. Dwight and John and I talked about some tentative kickoff dates, but we will be sharing that later on this month. And basically, that's it.
That's just excellent. As I said in the beginning, I'm really excited about this this approach. So we will open it up for questions. I'd appreciate any questions of elaboration if there's something that you'd like to get more information on, or if you have any ideas on how we can improve this process, or just general feedback. You think it's good, or should we be thinking along different lines? So while you're thinking about that, my first question is on the sanitization, Otto. It occurred to me that some of us have case studies which are public with the permission of the client, and in that case, I would imagine that would be all right to share as it is.
Yes, of course. The sanitization basically means that you take out or change anything that you feel that could be a problem for you to be sharing. So that may take several forms. Mm-hmm. I've seen cases where, just taking out the logos, or as you say, maybe the client is willing to be showcased, as a success case. And sometimes we have done, for other means, changing the data. So even when there is data involved, sometimes we develop a factor or an algorithm that changes all the numbers so that the proportions are similar, but the actual numbers are totally different. That depends on what you want and what you need in order to be comfortable to share.
Excellent.
Without losing the actual content. I mean, if you show only the logo and tell a story, that probably is not that worth it, much more or beyond the story. But what we want is the sharing of how you do it, or how you approach it, or how it's a how-to type of meeting.
Very good, very good. So any other questions? You can either indicate your interest by sending me a quick chat, or just start talking, because I think there's a small enough number of us we'll be able to sort that out. Any questions?
Yes, please.
Mikhail, go ahead.
Yes, I'm glad to see you. I'm a new member here, and I'm a member of Moscow division, a new member. I'm very impressed by this idea, as if I understood everything right. This is peer-to-peer online collaboration between consultants in different countries, that to change our experience and to talk about problems and how we solve it, best practices, and so on. I think it's a really great idea. And for my question is only that I think that everything will shown on the first practice when people will collaborate, and we will see how it works in practice. And my only questions, because I would like to participate too, if it's only for certificate members, because I'm going to have go for certification this autumn. I'm a new member, and I will go on. Or it's for all members?
Yes, thank you, Mikhail.
Yes,
no, it is not only for CMC certified. This is for CMC certified and for aspiring CMC, for members who are not yet certified. This is to share and to learn from each other. So this is a benefit, a service of CMC-GI that is aimed to help everyone grow.
Great. Great, thank you. So I'm the first member that I would like to take part in these sessions.
Yeah, and initially, for example, I mentioned you need to be 6 months ahead in being member. That could be waiver as the group starts, because you know, CMC-GI itself is very new. So I wanted to place that so it didn't got lost, but that might be something that is enforced once the CMC-GI is more mature and has more people. But initially, probably people who has just joined in, we would like to provide them with very good reasons to participate within CMC-GI.
excellent, very, very good point. And yeah, I think that's something we'll have to work through. And I like your point, Mikhail, that as we work through this, we will learn and we can improve as we go ahead. And congratulations on being the first to hold up your hand to join the group. Any other questions or feedback for us on this process, please?
I just wanted I have a comment. Do you hear me?
Yes, Valeriu, please.
Hello to everybody. It's a great idea. Congratulations. And in my view, indeed, we need to analyze in details the participation criteria and who can be in, who not, and things like this. Because I believe that this may be a very good opportunity to attract new members. And if we put some strong barriers, then we can lose the attraction effect. In my view, I don't know, but it's great, and looking forward. I'm second one.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, that is something that we need to work out, because let's see, part of the benefits of being within CMC should be to be able to be eligible to get into this group. In this group, the people who is going to be sharing will probably will be providing a lot of information about how they do stuff. So we need to get a balance, and I agree with Valeriu in which this is a very good reason why to join CMC GI, and we need to find a way. Sometimes something that I've seen before is that we are able to record one session that is thought from the beginning to be a showcase, so that whatever we are showed there, it's an example of what is shown in the closed group, and provides you an idea of what exactly because if you are thinking about becoming a CMC, let's see, this provides a way in which we can show the benefit in a controlled way, but if you want more, then you need to join.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. I love that idea. You use our a special webinar format to promote what is possible. I think that's great. Any other questions or comments for us? So this will be done under the auspices of the membership committee. As I said at the beginning, we are just now reestablishing the membership committee under a new chair, Harold, who's with us today. So as we build this out, we'll continue to give information. So we've got two have signed up. You can add me. I'll be the third. I'm always interested to share expertise and learn about what's happening with others. And anybody else can send an email to Otto. I'm not sure if everyone has your email address, Otto, but you can also send it to me directly as well, and I can forward it.
Okay, perfect. No, I'll send it. We can do with the list of who was communicated about this webinar, the whole list, yeah. And we can send them the email.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, because when I promote, I'll be promoting when this is on our YouTube channel, and at that same time I'll attach the slides, and I will give them your email address. Very good idea. Well, thank you, Otto. That was just excellent. A very good program, and we're looking forward to see it as it matures and as the membership grows in it.
Dwight, it's John Pasco. I'd also like to speak in support of this excellent proposal. For those of you who are unaware of my role, I'm responsible for professional development, and I've heard loud and clear from members and from other board members and so forth, what is the value of my membership? What's my return on investment? What are you going to do for me? How am I going to get my recertification points that are required to maintain my CMC? This will be an excellent addition to the lineup. So well done. Congratulations on a really solid proposal.
Thank you, John. Much appreciated. Nice to see the Chair of Professional Development on the call as well. Thank you. So let's move on to our next agenda. We're on the half hour, so we're exactly on schedule. The next part of our meeting is the Meet the Member. I'm very pleased to introduce Valeriu. Sorry, I stumbled on your name there, Valeriu. We are pleased in a number of ways. Number one is he's a recent member and really worked hard to become a CMC. So on the introduction slide here, I have that in red as your latest certification. So congratulations on that, Valeriu. And we're just pleased to hear from you today, to introduce yourself and to talk a bit about your practice, so that other members can become aware of this. So so I will advance the slides for you. So just let me know every time you're finished speaking to one, and I'll move it ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dwight. Hello, everybody. Well, you're right. I'm accepting congratulations now, as I have recently received the official confirmation email. as always, you know, the last certification is the most valuable one, as for a period you still live the emotions and the experience you got through to get this certification. Well, to start presenting myself, Valeriu Cernei, I am a partner with Moore Stephens, and Moore Stephens is a top 10 audit firm in the world. And as well, I'm leading my own, let's say, in Moore Stephens we are in a partnership, and also I have another company which is called, let's say, business solutions development management, and this company is focused on developing information systems, but it's not the traditional way, it's a totally different one. But now we are going, I'm going to present the Moore Stephens company and the experience we went through for the last 2 years. Myself, I'm specialized in IT consulting and IT security. And I'm doing this for more than 15 years. I started in 2006 to be a member in the Information Systems Audit and Control Associations, which is actually the body which, let's say, regulates the activity of IT auditors and IT consultants. Well, all my career was built around information security and IT audit, and for the last period, I'm trying to focus. I'm focusing on let's say on strategic things, which means IT strategy, governance, and more than this. I understand that there is a big gap between business and IT. I am trying to position myself as a, let's say, person who is able to get them together and to solve their problems. More than this, to speak the languages of everybody. Yes, the business language, at the same time the IT language. I used to work with a lot of clients. I can say that in Moldova, I'm honored to say that I worked with all the banks here. Also, for a while, I was working with EY in Moscow, and I was as well responsible for the financial sector. And okay, I can name so banks like Raiffeisen, Deutsche, Sberbank of Russia, Bank of Moscow, and some others. You can see on the slides my clients. They are not all of them, but still, you can see two categories of clients. First, financial banking, and the second is mainly retail clients, which once again is one of industries I'm specializing on. Please further. Next slide. Well, back please one slide. One click. Okay, this is okay. Moore Stephens. Actually, we own two offices in Romania, in Bucharest, and in Moldova, in Chișinău. We are three partners, and okay, which partner is focused on a certain let's say set of services. For example, we have the audit team, which has an audit partner. We have the IT audit and advisory team. Myself, I am leading this practice. We have accounting and tax team, which has its own practice. But at the same time, together we are owning these two offices, and we are providing services in both countries as a single, let's say, service hub. Yes. So we don't have any limitations to bring people from Moldova to Romania or vice versa. This is the kind of know-how we are using, and this works very, very well. Next. We started the Moore Stevens experience 1.5 years ago, and you can see that we managed to obtain several pretty important accreditations. The team has, you can see, the personal certifications, especially those that are below CMC, CISA, CRISC, CISM, the Open TOGAF, Open Group Architecture, ISO 27000, ACCA. At the same time, the company has some other accreditations like ACCA Platinum Approved Employer. We are accredited with the World Bank. We can audit and do projects for the World Bank. We are working with Black Sea and Trade Development Bank, as well with EBRD, and we managed to get two most important certificates we consider, the ISO 9000 and the 14000. Right. I wanted to focus a little bit and to tell you about the services in the area of IT which we are providing. And as you can see on the slide, actually we are trying to address Chief Information Officer's concern. And this means that we are trying to support companies to innovate. We are supporting companies to organize their internal and their internal processes. That black box, everybody understands that IT is a black box. Well, we are helping the companies to figure out everything happens in the IT. We do different kind of IT assessments, and this may be a simple audit, or this may be a part of an IT strategy. We can look at IT from security point of view, or we can look at IT from how to make it more efficient and to better support the business in achieving their business needs. We have here in the team 3 persons who they are focusing on information security management and information security in general. These experts are focusing and are working together with the clients to help them to secure their information assets. We can see that for the last period, companies are asking more often the so-called business continuity management system service, which means that we go together with the business, we understand their critical processes from the continuity point of view, and then we set the technologies in order to support them to be able to face major disruptions and to continue their operations with minimum impact. As well, the ERP quality assurance. With this service, we are supporting organizations from the very beginning, so they acknowledge that they need a system. For example, we are supporting them to identify the players on the market, to organize the tender, to prepare the specifications, and more than this, we are close to our clients until the go live of the system, acting like their lawyers. So we are supporting them from the idea till the realization itself. Now we have the same which I told you right now. Dwight, next slide, please. But it's a little bit more detailed. from innovation point of view, I can say that we are supporting with a viable IT strategy which comes to support the business strategy. So it's okay to have a, let's say, IT strategy, but it should be at the same time developed in a manner to support the business growth and innovation. And this is key now, and I have some conclusions at the end, and everybody will understand what I'm saying this. Indeed, innovation nowadays is a very, very important thing in our businesses. Next, please. This is about the corporate IT governance. We are supporting with all the range, or we are supporting CIO in fixing all his concerns, and these are the basic rules. These are investments. These are complex architectures with which have to be implemented and documented and maintained. The most important data and data security, and of course the IT infrastructure. We have capacity to cover all these aspects. Next, please. I'll try to be faster. I told you about quality assurance. We are supporting clients from the idea. If a client says that I need an ERP system or a specific, let's say, wants to automate a specific business segment or area, from that point until go live, we are assisting the clients. Next, please. Business continuity planning, and I said earlier that for the last period we are having more often requests for this kind of services. One point which is important to be mentioned is that this is not an IT project. Actually, this is a business-owned and business-driven process. So IT themselves, they cannot ensure that your businesses, our businesses will continue in case of a major disruption. So this is, we start with discussions with the business, understand their needs, their expectations, and after that only we go to IT and together are developing the strategies in case of how to react in case of a major disruption. Right, thank you. Next. Information security management. I have a conclusion at the end as well on this topic. Anyway, we are designing our services so to support clients in establishing, implementing, operating, and maintaining the security framework. And you know, maybe you've heard about the last virus, WannaCry, which was infecting was present in more than 100 countries, and we realized last week that we have it in Moldova as well, and even more, we supported our clients that they got infected, and we supported them to clean everything without paying any penny to those guys. And this is becoming more important. And what I want to say is that once the technology is evolving and we are using new technologies, risks are in special security risks. They take different forms, and this will be a very hot topic for the next period. Next one. Okay, this is everything about IT assessment. It may be a simple IT audit when, for example, it's in Moldova, National Bank of Moldova is requiring banks to pass this kind of audit on a yearly basis, and we are providing the audit opinion, or a client may may want to understand better what happens in their IT and how to make it more efficient. We are coming, preparing, doing the work, preparing reports, developing recommendations, and more than this, we are supporting, if required, we are supporting the clients to implement these recommendations. Next one. Well, we are at the last slide. Final thoughts. It is very important to ensure that the IT and the business are aligned. We passed the era when IT was like a state in a state and was deciding the best way for the business. Now they have to discuss, because we can see another point. Those companies will succeed if they manage to be first partners and second innovators. So in this period, IT is not only an executor or let's say a protector of the business. It has to be a partner and to come with new ideas and innovate. The other point is that at the same time, business should move very fast and let's say very carefully analyze the innovations that are brought to their table. The adoption speed, for example, I can give you an example. The airplane have been adopted during kind of 50 to 70 years until it became, let's say, the airplane of our days. Facebook became the first social network in the world in just 2 years. So you can see the difference and the speed of adoption. And the conclusion is that business should analyze and move very fast in implementing new technologies. And in terms of security, I just wanted to share my thought that is that up to now, companies were hiring security experts in order to secure their, let's say, their infrastructure, their systems, and things like this. Once we have this process, so-called globalization, we understand that actually with or without our permission, companies like Google, Microsoft, and things like this, they are using our information, our private data, and they have a possibility to collect, including where we are at a certain moment and things like this. So I expect that in the near future, those security experts, which will be able to give more comfort and more private to an individual, will be very valuable, let's say. Yes, we will go vice versa. Everybody is going global, but soon everybody will be willing to remain private. So, and this will be a vice versa exercise, and this will require the same competencies, but with another view on at the information security. These were my thoughts, my experience, the information about our company. Ready to answer your questions.
Thank you very much. Just given time, we'll ask people to contact you, Valeriu. Perhaps in the chat you can put your email if anyone wants to get to you directly. Thank you. Very interesting and a good overview, and I really appreciate it. I love this portion of the meetings where we get to hear from others. So thank you for preparing that and for presenting it to us today. In terms of meet the members, we have two parts. One is to meet the member, and then the second one is to meet one of the board members and to give you a bit of a background of the people that have been on the board. And my name got pulled out of the hat this time. So you've heard from me as the host, and now I'll just take a few minutes just to introduce myself and give you a quick overview of my firm as well. So the firm I'm president of is Effective Managers. We're a relatively new firm, but I've been working in consulting as my second career. So my first career was with the Canadian Red Cross, where I spent 20 years in a number of roles nationally, locally, and then back to nationally again. And then with the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, where I spent 5 years there. So my 25-year career was with them. Then I went into consulting, worked with Capel Associates in organization design, and worked with them for 14 years, starting in 1999, which is the year that I got my my CMC. So I've felt from the very beginning that this certification is really, really important. And that's what, in fact, inspired me to become a volunteer with CMC-Global, and then more recently with CMC-Global Institute. So we have then just an example of some of the companies I've worked with. So I've worked with the very small, the local dental office or plumbing and heating company, to, as you see, some global companies in terms of working with them in organization design. And then more recently in my specialty, because I did semi-retire back in 2010. I had decided that management consulting at that point in my career was just way more time spent in airports and hotels than I needed, and wanted to get more involved in board work and research. And started with this question because all of the work that I've been doing up until that point in time, either as an executive or head of organizations in other parts in my earlier career, or as a management consultant, instead of improving processes, led me to believe that while we improve processes, somehow at the end of the day, managers still weren't able to focus in on their most important work. So as you see on the screen here, they would go home at the end of the day feeling badly about what they didn't get done, instead of feeling good about what they did get done. And I wanted to understand that better. So I use this picture in my presentations with clients to explain what it looks like to most managers in most organizations. There's just all kinds of conflicting information pulling them in many different directions. So in terms of that piece of the puzzle, and managers trying to do their work, often the tasks of the day feel more like this than they should. And part of our job then as management consultants really needs to be to help clients figure out how to get the whole team working together in a way where people are focused in on the right work, doing the right things, and really helping organizations to achieve their strategy. And strategy execution then really does come to the heart of it. And in the research that I did following my semi-retirement, I spent 2 years reading and studying and thinking, and some of the most inspiring, I guess, but in a negative sense, some of the most dismaying information was that 70% of organizations fail to achieve their strategies. And if you listen to, as you see in this news clipping here, to Dr. Cotter, that in fact only 5% actually achieve the strategies that they intended to achieve when they started out on them. So something is going wrong in organizations, and I call that organizational churn in terms of people and managers being pulled into the wrong work and doing the wrong kinds of things. The other thing that I think is really important about stuff that is happening in organizations is that organizations are now so complex, and individuals in them are pulled in so many different directions that people are not able to collaborate. And in the very highly interdependent work situations that we have now, it's no wonder then that when people rely on others and that work doesn't get done in the time frame that they expected, that things start to go off the rails in terms of strategy. So I call all of those things in the organization organizational terms. You know, going to meetings that you shouldn't have to go to, reading emails that you shouldn't have to read, being involved in conflict in another part of the organization that you needn't be involved in. So this is all contributing to it. So I partnered with the University of Ottawa, with the Telfer School of Management, to actually create a research project into this to understand what was happening. And the first finding was something that had not yet been published in managerial leadership or any kind of management sciences literature, is that managers only spend 55% of their work, only spend 55% of their time. But we've got somebody that needs to mute here, please. So managers only spend. Can you?
Пока мои мерзнут, там я тут греюсь.
Okay, I think it might be okay now. So managers only spend 55% of their time doing value-added work. So this becomes a real problem for organizations, and is an actual measurement of this churn that I'm talking about. That almost half of the time of managers is spent doing things that really aren't part of their engagement. The other thing that we found out, which is really important, is that those organizations that are more clear about accountability within their organizations are more effective. So this whole thing about organizations being able to do what they intend to do is directly related to accountability in organizations. So the work that we're doing in organizations is very much around how do we help organizations to become more accountable. The other thought I want to leave you with is around the other finding that we found, which was really important, is that in organizations, accountability has two different dimensions. The first one is felt accountability. How strongly do I feel about what I should be accountable for in my work? As you can see, managers score themselves very highly. But the second dimension, how clear am I about what I'm accountable for? And their managers score themselves much more lowly. So this reconciles to me a discrepancy that I felt, that most people in organizations want to do good work, and they feel accountable for doing good things, but they're not clear about those things that they should be focusing in on, and as a result, they end up being dragged into areas where they shouldn't be, and doing work that they're not involved in. So coming out of that research, we created an assessment tool which measures measures the effectiveness of managers in organizations, and many other related dimensions to really give a tool to CEOs and heads of HR to understand what's happening. If anybody's interested in that, I do have a white paper on the effective point of accountability. It's for sale on my website, but for any member of GI, just send me an email and I'll send you a complimentary copy. I would be pleased to do that. So what we're really doing then with organizational practice is focused in specifically on how do we collaborate within organizations, how do we work together, and how do we get everything done in a way that's going to be helpful. I'm just mute our colleague here. There we go. Sorry about that. I should have thought of doing that earlier.
Sorry, he doesn't understand. I think I don't know how to teach him.
I forgot that I was the manager of the program that had.
Yeah, you can. I think you can shut him down.
I did. I just put him on mute. So now we're going to be okay. So anyway, sorry about that. It got a little bit more difficult. Anyway, I do have a lot of this information. In fact, all of this information on YouTube channels if anybody is interested more. But the whole thing about the methodology is around rules of the road. So how do we ensure that organizations, in terms of doing work, have the same kinds of rules and understanding about working together as cars driving on the roads? So you can imagine if we didn't have traffic signals, what chaos there would be. The same thing is happening today in organizations because there are no commonly understood terms in terms of collaborating with each other, or even in fact of how work is being delegated down the organization. So in terms of the work that I'm doing, my approach is to have a global practice. So I do offer the services around the world, but I'm not, have no desire to build a global company. So I do this through partnership agreements with other organizations in other parts of the world, and very successfully. So I'm just delighted to have some extremely capable and competent people that work with me in terms of using this methodology to help organizations understand how important accountability is and the clarity of accountability, and getting frameworks in place in their organizations to do what needs to be done. So again, I said we do have my website has information about this, and on YouTube I've got recorded webinars, and there's when we send the slides around, you will have that information. So just so that's the end of my presentation. Do send me an email. We're running a little short on time. I'm putting my host hat back on again, and as the host hat, just to let you know that we're working on a 1-hour webinar with the chair of the certification committee, Vasanta Chase. And we're going to talk about the recertification. So every 3 years as CMCs, we have to go through a process, and that involves on an annual basis doing things to keep our certification up to date. So she will be detailing all of this for us. We have an excellent program in place, and now we have support to help you do this, and we'll be showing you how that works. Also, we have now scheduled at the end of August with our chair of program and professional development. By the end of August, John says he will have for us a program and an outline for how our professional development programs work for members. So we will walk through that with you at the end of August. So let's forego the any other questions, and I'll just thank. Well, we'll open it up for questions, because if anybody is here and does have a question, let's just chat about that quickly, and then we can move on. So I'm sorry I did let the meeting get away a little bit today, so we're a few minutes over. But if anybody has any questions or any comments to the members, let's do that now.
Yeah, Dwight, thank you very much for your presentation. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
My question about next seminar about recertification. Do you plan this term discuss about recertification?
Yes, we would like to do that. We don't have the date now, but we want to do it soon. So if not by the end of this month, we will do it sometime in July. So I will send an email to all members with the date as soon as we have it set.
In July.
Maybe as early as next week, but Vasanta and I are having trouble coordinating calendars.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the group?
Yes, please. Can you please repeat? Maybe I didn't understand good. What about webinars on your website? You said that you can take a part in these webinars, or that gonna be one webinar soon?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was starting to speak pretty quickly towards the end there. I do have a YouTube channel, which you can get by searching Effective Managers. And there I put a recorded version of all of the webinars I've hosted. So I've got about 40 or 50 webinars on topics, all related to accountability and effectiveness of managers. So those are free for access.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, we've gone 5 minutes over, so I apologize for that, but I thank you for just an excellent session today. Otto, thank you for your presentation. This is a great program. It's going to do great things for the membership. Valeriu, it was very nice to meet you a little bit more formally and to understand your work, and thank you for your attention during my presentation. So everybody have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll be talking next month.
Bye.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thanks, Tamara.
Thank you, Dwight.
Bye.